Good morning to all my viewers. Today I am going to discuss one of the most fundamental chapter of mathematics as per the plus 2 science curriculum, that is a set theory. Before going to the chapter, the subject set theory is one of the most important chapter in a plus 2 science curriculum, because the concept of set theory also applied, also required for other chapters like coordinate geometry, relation function, probability and statistics. Many more chapters are required to understand if we understand the basic concepts of set theory. Now, coming to set theory, let us first of all know what is a set. The definition goes like this: set is a collection of well-defined objects. Here the word we have to give stress on well-defined. Next is object. Here object is not only the physical objects but also other things, commodities, elements and various items. You may say they are known as mathematical objects. Just like the words of various language, the letters of various language, even the symbols or citizens, like this, anything can be mathematical objects. Now coming to collection. When we are collecting the objects, we have to give stress on whether the objects are well defined or not. So collection of well defined objects is known as a set. Now I will give example where we can say what is well defined according to mathematics language. Just like a collection of that means rivers of India is a set, because we know which rivers are flowing through India. But when I say collection of big rivers of India, the word big has got many meaning. That means whether big according to the length, or according to the volume, or according to the water content. So big is ambiguity in nature, many meaning in nature. So my collection and your collection may different. So that's why collection of big rivers of India is not a set. It is not well defined. But collection of rivers of India is a set. Similarly, collection of citizens of India is a set. It is all defined. Every citizen has got their identities. But when I say collection of smart citizen of India, here smart is not well defined. Similarly, collection of tall student of the class. Tall is not well defined. After what height you will call a tall person? This is not a benchmark. There is no benchmark for tall. So similarly, smart students tall students, handsome students, any type of adjective is qualitative or any adjective when added to the collection, which is ambiguity in nature, then the collection will not be a set. The element, that means the object should be well defined. Now, every set is given a name by the using capital letter of the English alphabet. A or B or C or dot 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 like Z, whatever letter of English alphabet you can use for naming a set. This set generally written in curly brackets of both sides known as braces. In between the braces, the elements are enumerated or written, and putting comma in between them, just like when I am collecting the natural number, I can write like this 1, 2, 3, putting comma in between them. Okay. Now the sequence of writing is not important, because if there is an element like this, I have given a set B, taken a set B, collection of first 3 letter of English alphabet, letter A, B, C. So the sequence is not important. I can write this set, this collection as B, C, A, the same set. Sequence is not important. So, naming braces. Now, this symbol is used to identify which object is belong to this set and which object is not belong to this set. Here, in the case of B set, I can say A is element of set B. This symbol is used element of or belongs to. Now D is an object or element which is not belong to this set. So here I can write like this: D not element of B. So A element of B, D not element of B. A belongs to B, D not belongs to B. Like this, elements can be written. Now, all the elements should be in between the 2 braces or curly brackets. It is one way of representation of this set. Now we will go through other representations of a set. Let us discuss representation or sets. There are mainly 3 ways of presentation of a set. One is a roster or tabular method. Next is a set builder method or rule method. And third one is a Venn diagram method. Coming to roster or tabular method, in this method, a set, let A is a set. The elements are written putting comma in between them. Just like in term of horizontal table. Like this: A, comma B, comma C, comma D, putting comma in between them. This is known as roster or tabular method. Here we can visualize all the elements which is belong to this set. Now coming to the second method, that is a set builder method or rule method. Here we take a common property of these elements and try to write in that manner. So the manner will be x such that x is the first four letter of English alphabet. So the common property is that these are letters of English alphabet, and I have written only four first letters of English alphabet. So taking the common property, this is known as the builder or rule method. Taking another example, say I have taken a set B. Elements are 1, 2, 3, 4. This is known as a set builder. That means tabular roster or tabular method. Here I can represent this particular set in a set builder method also. In that case, I will write like this: x such that x element of natural numbers and x less than 5. So the common property is all are natural numbers, all are less than 5. So taking the common property, I have written like this. So this method is roster or tabular method. This method is rule method or set builder method. Again, coming to the Venn diagram method, this set can be shown in diagrams like this: set A, set B, in oval set, putting the name inside the set. So this is called diagrammatic or Venn diagram method. Fundamentally, these three methods we apply to represent sets. Now coming to other part of a set, you can see here I have taken 4 objects or 4 elements. So if I write like this, it read as mode A, or some books it is written as like this, n of A. This symbol represents the cardinal number of a set. That means the number of element present in this set. In this case, example, A has 4 elements. So here mode of A, n of A is equal to 4. The number of elements present in the set A is 4. Similarly, in the case of B, mode B or n of B is again 4. 4 elements are there. So this is known as the cardinal number of a set or number of element present in a set. Now this cardinal number play an important role when we discuss the types of a set. So let us discuss the various types of a set, which is divided according to the cardinal number of the sets. Mainly cardinal number of the set. The first one is null set. We are going to discuss the types of set. The foremost is a null set. Here, the cardinal number of the set is 0. That means Null set is a set having no element. It is a set but having no element. Generally, the symbol phi is used to represent a null set. And cardinal number of phi is equal to 0. So, the number of elements present in the set is 0, and the symbol used to represent null set is phi. But any set which has no element, it can be a null set like this. Say I have written set A x such that x element of real number x not equal to x. Here it is in the set builder form. I have taken x as a real number, but the real number which is not equal to itself. So here A has no element. But A is well defined, collection of well defined objects, but having no element. So A is a set, but it is a null set. Cardinal number of A is equal to 0. And the null set also known as empty set, void set, like this. Taking other example of null set, like collection of a year having 13 months. So it is well defined. We know that every year has 12 months. But we are going to collect a month, that means year, which is 13 months. So we know such a year is not exist, but still then the collection is well defined. That's why it is a set, but it is a null set. Similarly, collection of a week having 8 days. So these are some example of null set, which has no element, but it is well defined, and cardinal number is 0. The symbol used is phi. Next is the set which has only one element. Only one element, known as a singleton set. A set having only one element. The cardinal number of a singleton set is 1. For example, I have taken A, B, okay. So here cardinal number of A is equal to 1. Similarly, cardinal number of B also 1, because the solution of X is 1. So similarly, this is known as a singleton set. In real life, the collection of capitals of Odisha is a singleton set, because capital is only Bhubaneswar. So similarly, example in real life you will find many more examples of a singleton set. Coming to another types of set, here we have sets can be of two types, finite and infinite. If the set has a countable number of elements, that means if the cardinal number is a finite number, then the set is known as a finite set. For example, I have taken A, here the elements say the vowels of English alphabet. A has the cardinal number height, which is a finite number. We can count the number of elements of the set A. So that's why A is not a, that means A is a finite set. So if a set having finite number of elements, then it is called a finite set. Taking example B, here I am taken 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, 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 like this. The numbers which belong to B is natural numbers. I know the numbers which are belonging to set B, which is not belonging to set B. Like 2 by 3 is not element of B, but 1, 0, 0, 0, 1 element of B. So a large number which is belonging to B and not belonging to B, I can well define. But when I come to the cardinal number of B, it is infinite. So B has got an uncountable number of elements. You may say infinitely many number of elements. In that case, B is known as an infinite set. So if a set has uncountable number of elements, then it is called an infinite set. So we have got two types. The natural number set is an infinite set. The set of integer that is symbolized as z is also an infinite set. The set of real number is also an infinite set. Like this, many more infinite sets are there. Now coming to another type of set, that is equivalent set. Equivalent set. If the cardinal number of two sets are equal, then they are called equivalent sets. Here I am taking a set letter A is an element A, B, C. B has element 1, 2, 3, and C another set having element alpha, beta, gamma. So you will find cardinal number of A is equal to cardinal number of B is equal to cardinal number of C is equal to 3. So all these three sets has the same cardinal number. That's why they are called as equivalent sets. So equivalent sets are those sets whose cardinal numbers are same. So sometimes there arises a confusion whether the set like natural number, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, dot, dot. Another set will be, say, 2, 4, 6, 8, dot, dot, dot. Another set, say, prime set our, that is another set like 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, dot, dot, dot. Here I have taken all three infinite sets. Now the question arises, all the set has infinite number of elements, whether they are equivalent to each other or not. Now coming to the equivalency of infinite set we will find when comparing n and b. You can see if you multiply 2 to every element of this set, you will get these elements of b 2 times. So that's why n and b are equivalent sets. Even though they are infinite sets, they can be treated as equivalent sets. But when I compare to n and p, you will find no element corresponding to one another. There is no one-to-one correspondence between n and b, between b and p. So, n equivalent to b, n and b are equivalent sets, but n not equivalent to p and b is not a equivalent set to p. So two infinite sets can be equivalent if there is a one-to-one correspondence of each element of these two infinite sets, like this, one-to-one correspondence. Now coming to another types of set. Before going to another type of set, I am taking an example of set A, taking a set A, B, C, and another set I am taking A, B, C, D, E, and let D be another set, B, C, A. So here I have taken 3 sets, example of 3 sets, A, B, C, having different cardinal numbers. Now coming to compare, when I compare to A and B, you will find all the elements of the A also present in B. In this case, A is called subset of B. The subset symbol is like this. A is a subset of B. Or you can write this, B superset of A. B superset of A. But we rarely use this symbol superset. We commonly use A subset of B. So the definition like this goes like this: A subset of B, that means X such that X element of A implies X element of B. That means the elements which are belong to A also belong to B, but the vice versa is not there. So here A is a subset of B. All the elements of A present in B. Now, when I compare A and D, you will find this statement, that is A subset of D, because X such that X element of A implies X element of D. All the elements present in A also present in a D, but the vice versa is also true. That is D subset of A, that is X such that X element of D implies X element of A. Those elements which are belong to D also belong to A. So here A and D are improper subset of each other. we called improper subset. No doubt they are subsets of each other, but this type of subset is known as improper subset. But here A subset of B, in this case A is proper subset of B. So here you will find two things: proper subset, improper subset. In case of a proper subset, you have all the elements of the first set belong to the second set, but there exist extra elements in the second set which is not belong to the first set, like B and E not belong to A. So that's why A is a proper subset of B. But when I compare A and D, you will find all the elements which is belong to A also belong to D, and all the elements which is belong to D also belong to A. No extra elements present in A or not present in D. So that's why they are improper subsets. They can be written as A like this. So in case of improper subset, you will put a line under this subset sign. Every set is an improper subset of itself. For example, A is improper subset of A, B is improper subset of B, and D is improper subset of D. Every set is an improper subset of itself. And phi, that means null set, void set or empty set, which is symbolized as phi. Phi is a universal subset to all other sets. That means phi is a subset to all other sets. That is, phi is subset of A, phi is subset of B, phi is subset of D, like this. Phi is also subset of itself. Null set is also subset of itself. But we have two things here. One is a proper subset, another is an improper subset. Now, let us compare these two sets. A and B. You will find those elements present in A also present in B, but certain elements which are present in B not present in A. So, if we take these two elements to another set, they are known as a complement set of A, and written as like this: A dash, or some books write like A complement. The definition is like this: X such that X not element of A. So the elements which is not belong to A is belong to its complement set. Okay? In this case, if I compare A and B, B is known as a superset or a universal set of A. So in this case, A complement is equal to D and E. A complement is D and E. Similarly, if I have taken another set D, A, C, E, and D is a subset of B also. That is, B is a universal set of A and D both, and D complement will be elements like B, D, this one, which is not present in a D. They belong to D complement or D dash. Now, if I write like this, x such that x not element of A complement. If the elements are not belonging to A complement, then you will find if D and E belong to B also, but those elements, collection of those elements which is not belong to A dash is known as A. That is A complements complement, that is A. So X is not element of A complement means A complements complement, we find A. So if we complement a set even times, we will get the same set A. If we complement a set odd times, we will get A complement. If we complement even time, we will get same set. If we complement the set odd times, we will get A complement. Now here B is the universal set of A and D. Coming to the representation of those universal set, generally we take a rectangle to represent a universal set. And symbols, letters like capital E and U are taken for representation of a universal set. Say I have taken E as the universal set here, and other sets like A and B, C are subsets of universal set E. Now in a diagram, if we want to see the complement set E, this is A, and this part which is not belong to A but belong to E is known as A complement. So here E has a two parts, A and A complement. Both are subsets of E. Both are subsets of E. Now coming to E complement. That means X such that X not element of a universal set E. So we will find no such element which is not belong to a universal set, because every element belong to the universal set. So this collection is nothing but phi or null set. So E complement is phi. Similarly, phi complement or phi dash, X such that X not element of phi. That means collection of those elements which are not belong to null set. It is belong to obviously the universal set, because null set has no element. So all other elements are belong to what? That is universal set. So phi complement is E. So E complement is phi and phi complement is E. So this is about complements of a set.